Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Sean Atwood channel. Before we begin this evening, I need to confirm whether or not you guys can hear and see me. There's been a massive fault of the internet in my area. It is meant to be being repaired before 9 o'clock this evening. But if you can confirm that you can see me and hear me, that would be awesome. So, and of course, I'm joined this evening by the awesome Queenie, the legend herself.
Hello,
Yeah, how
everyone. Hi.
good. Right.
Fine.
So,
Today's my son's birthday, and he wanted me to make him some oxtail soup.
okay.
So I
And how did it
made
go?
that for him. Oh, it was fine. It was good. It was good.
Good. Okay, listen, everybody. I'm gonna need your help to like and share this stream this evening. I had a absolutely nightmare day yesterday, and I want to make sure that we are still going to be pushing out these live streams, making sure everyone turns up and is ready to go. But this evening, this. Sorry, my mic is needing to come down a little bit. Just give me a second. There we go. That's a little bit better, I think, for everybody. A little bit better. There we are. So this evening, we're taking a little lagging, bro. Okay, right. Just let me know I'm coming through okay. I'm not trusting Shane's internet. I think we're okay. Right? What do you guys think? Can you hear me? Just put ones in the side chat if you can hear me, please. Okay. The sound is good. Okay, well maybe I'll turn this off and maybe that'll give us a little bit more bandwidth. The internet will be fixed, I'm hoping, for the next stream. But listen, Queenie and I have not jumped into this one yet, and a lot of you were asking about this. Wedger and I were meant to cover this, but we just didn't get around to it, right? And I think a lot of you don't know what's going on, and I don't know what's going on. So we're doing a little deep dive hour into this because this is a wild. Now, there's two ways of looking at this, okay? There is exactly what's being told. These poor women abused, humiliated, and systematically abused. There's no other way of putting it. And I couldn't believe what I had heard when I sort of skimmed over this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find out who Mohamed Al-Fayed was and how he got his power. We're going to watch through a few little videos and we're hitting some headlines and we're going to have a discussion. We'll be running this for about an hour. Then we're into a live stream with Sean. Then at 9:30 tonight, I start my new series, Let's Hear It for Hollywood. Consider Let's Hear It for Hollywood my version of like Atwood Unleashed on the Sean Atwood channel, where we're going to be focusing entirely on exposing Hollywood. We're going to use this massive story of Diddy, all the eyes that are on him, to really educate and push the story out further and build this web of individuals around him. So yeah, let's listen and find out who Al-Fayed was and what brought him to power. Any issues, let me know.
The truth will come out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Someone there of this invisible criminal.
We will say it plainly. Mohamed Al-Fayed was a monster.
Former Harrods billionaire Mohamed Al-Fayed was a monster who raped and sexually abused young women, lawyers representing dozens of his accusers claim. Al-Fayed, whose son Dodi was in a relationship with Princess Diana when they both died in Paris, was said to use a 14-room royal mansion to conduct the crimes, dubbed the Villa Windsor in Paris.
Boss lady seems allergic to me.
Well, that makes two of us.
5 women have alleged they were raped by the Egyptian billionaire, who died last year aged 94, and a further 20 employees claim Mr. Al-Fayed sexually assaulted them across multiple locations. The Duke and Duchess of Windsor's luxurious French property featured on Netflix hit The Crown's 3rd season. The new documentary called Al-Fayed, Predator at Harrods, hears claims from women who worked at the London-based department store. Employees allege the assault.
I mean, it's pretty mad so far. You know, just keep in mind as well how close this guy was to Diana, the royals. You heard there about the mansions where some of these crimes were meant to allegedly have taken place. Keep in mind, we are going to paint a little picture this evening, but everything is allegedly, witness testimonies, survivors, all the rest of it. And you, as the public, are welcome to interpret all of this, right, in any which way that you want. You can hit the nail on the head. You can agree with everything that is being shown and the opinions, or you can have an entirely different one, and you're very welcome. And let us know what you think. But let's continue with this.
Assaults were carried out at different locations, including the company's offices. Al-Fayed was accused of abuse that spanned most of his 25 tenure, beginning from 1985. Some of Al-Fayed's accusers were teenagers at the time of the abuse, with at least one as young as 15. London's Metropolitan Police have said they were made aware of allegations in the past and had questioned Al-Fayed in 2008 in connection with the sexual abuse of a 15-year-old, but prosecutors at the time did not take the case forward. There was also no comment from Al-Fayed's family.
The ugly truth, however, was that a number of female employees were being sexually abused by its chairman.
Are we going to see one of these cases where all the evidence is laid out while they're alive and then it suddenly gets taken seriously when they're dead? Because if that's the case, right, we have to assume we're seeing a new pattern here of known monsters, allegedly. Savile is another good example of this, who are being allowed to die before their crimes come out. I'm just calling the data as I see it, whether it means anything, I don't know. Listen, do me a favor, right? Do it for me, right? Whatever platform you're on, can we share the living hell out of this to spam some people over to YouTube? Because I was meant to be on last night and never, and it would really mean the world for me to not have to have the stress of worrying if I've killed some traction. Okay, let's carry on. Oh my God. Why are we getting buffering? Oh God. Are we back? I think we're back. I've got buffer in here. Give me 1 second. Can everyone still hear me? Are we back? Can anyone hear me? Sorry, I know I'm freaking out now. It's
Yes, we
because of my
can hear
internet.
you.
I hope the truth will come out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Queenie. Right, we'll get back to this. It's buffering. I apologize. I'm going to have to lower this.
At Harrods, his claims from women who worked at the London-based department store.
Here we go. Oh God. Just put up with it. Just put up with it. Okay. Look past this. Look past the buffering, people. Okay. It would really help me a lot if we just.
Employees allege the assaults were carried out at different locations, including the company's offices. Al-Fayed was accused of abuse that spanned most of his 25 tenure, beginning from 1985. Some of Al-Fayed's accusers were teenagers at the time of the abuse, with at least one as young as 15. London's Metropolitan Police have said they were made aware of allegations in the past and had questioned Al-Fayed in 2008 in connection with the sexual abuse of a 15-year-old, but prosecutors at the time did not take the case forward. There was also no comment from Al-Fayed's family.
The ugly truth, however, was that a number of female employees were being sexually abused by its chairman, Mohamed Al-Fayed.
Al-Fayed moved to Britain in the 1960s after early investments in shipping in Italy and the Middle East and started building an empire. At his wealthiest, he owned the Ritz Hotel in Paris and London soccer team Fulham. He became a prominent conspiracy theorist after the Paris crash that killed his son Dodi and Princess Diana in
How
1997.
different does all that seem?
Don't give a damn, don't give a shit about the establishment. For me, they are nothing. They are just a bunch of bastards and crooks.
Football club Fulham have said they are investigating whether anyone associated with the club has been a victim of its late former owner, with the club claiming they are in the process of establishing whether anyone at the club is or has been affected. Harrods' current owners say they were utterly appalled by the allegations of abuse, but were only made aware of them last year.
While we cannot undo the...
See, here's an interesting one, right? So, wouldn't it be really mad, right? Because, and I need to apologize. We're dealing with ADHD. The thought process is going everywhere. We're deep diving. I read a story about Walmart in America and how they employ a lot of senior citizens And there was a documentary about how they were taking out life insurances on these senior citizens. So when they passed away, they would effectively recoup all of the money that they were paying them. And they were subsequent to bigger payouts than the family. And sometimes the family never had life insurance. It's a dirty, dirty practice. What if, and please, this is not what I think, I'm just talking about data. What if we're going to start seeing wealthy individuals having their companies rinsed for money after their death based off of preordained conspiracy theories, right? Such as, I'm not saying this is a conspiracy theory, but it seems, I'm more inclined to believe that we're more in the right path with these people being allowed to die and then suffer the wrath of their crimes. But I know there's going to be people out there that feel like, well, he's dead. He's not here to act for himself. It's all alleged. What could the other side of the story be? And that could be something, but I don't think it is. It's a deep dive, people. So the opinions are coming as they go. What did you think of that little clip, Queenie? And what was your sort of opinion on Al Fayed before we sort of came in here, if you had any at all?
Personally, I used to think that he was a good person. It's kind of weird. Why are we waiting until these so monsters, they want to say, passed away to bring all these charges onto them? Because if you can have charges now, being all these people coming out, why couldn't they come forward then? Not to say that they're lying or they're telling the truth, because some people could be real victims, while others could be just want to jump on the bandwagon for a cash grab because he's not here to answer for them for himself. So it's a very tricky situation for me. It is very tricky. Back in his heyday when he had all these money, he had the football club, he had the hotel, they could have taken him down then, because at that time he was being looked at as they wouldn't give him citizen here. So there was something over his head. So they could have tried to investigate him. Why didn't the police try and dig harder? I don't know. These things that are happening while people are gone and they can't answer for their crimes, it just doesn't sit right with me. Get the bastard while he's here, chuck him in prison or her, whoever, and let them rot there. Why you wait until they're gone?
Okay, so let's take it from two different perspectives. Let's take it from the why have people waited to come forward, and why have police not taken those who came forward, taken it forward? Let's look at those 2 points, right? So,
yes,
obviously, the big finger points to massive corruption and somewhat of a fairly familiar tone, whether it's the man on the island, whether it's Diddy. Okay, it's a person of power doing debauchery and horrendous things and in a very abusive manner, allegedly. And I can't believe the things that have come out about this man. Okay. And this next one, Queenie, this is where we're all going to learn, me included. Okay, we're going to watch through this and discuss. So this is where we're going to have the story, where we're at now, what has come out, what is going on. We're going to delve into this again. For those of you who aren't interested in watching things back on channels, I get it. But this is how I like to do my deep dives. And I like to include you guys because we kind of learn along. And you guys asked for this, and I want to make sure we give you what you want. Later on this evening, it's going to be a rantathon. Okay, you're going to see an advert just shortly for what's coming later.
Was a monster, according to dozens of women who worked for Mohamed Al Fayed when he ran Harrods, the epitome of a serial sexual abuser in the mold of Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein, according to a lawyer who represented their victims.
Mohamed Al Fayed died last year at 94 years old.
Damn.
He died without ever taking responsibility for what he did to many of his victims. They have lived with the shame, humiliation, and the anguish that Mohamed Al-Fayed and Harrods caused them.
Mohamed Al-Fayed can't be punished, but civil justice is still available. 37 women intend to take legal action against Harrods.
So that is where the fuel is going to come from for conspiracy. I just want to point that out, okay? Because if all of it is real,
this is the issue that I'm
information.
having. This is the issue I'm having now, is that I don't know. I'm not here to judge
Listen.
these people.
Yeah. I think you nailed it when you said earlier that it could be a case of reality and also false allegations. But again, we're not saying anything other than this is what's being reported. Make up your own mind and having a discussion that is. These deep dives are designed for us all to have a discussion. And yeah. Oh, Lisa, you're not a mod on my channel. That is outrageous. Outrageous. Let me fix that right now so that I can stop embarrassing myself. Because hell yeah. I mean, I don't need you modding the channel, but you damn well are going to be a mod. Gee whiz. I don't think you've said anything over there. Once you type something, I'll mod you. Who else have we got over here that has been pretty awesome over time? Catherine, misinformation. Yeah, you guys are around quite a lot and are pretty well behaved and awesome. You guys, let me know if you guys fancy trying a little bit of modding on my channel. Let me know. Okay, so let's continue this.
One of them, Natasha, said she was.
Oh wait, no, this is what I was going to finish in saying. So we're just having an open discussion. I will definitely give my solid verdict on all of this. But just for when Queenie's talking about she doesn't know, she said a couple of times where it sounded like basically, and the internet, not to me, but the internet could frame it as like victim blaming, if you will, right? But it's not. She's not there yet. She's making up her own mind and believes there could be more to this, with the possibility of a sprinkling of false allegation leading to huge payout. And is that right, Queenie? I'm not going to speak for you.
Perfectly. Perfect.
Yeah, nice one. Perfect. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. And I'm just saving you the comments for people to be like, goddamn victim blaming. No.
Oh, they can say that
when
if
she
they
started
want.
working
It's
for
free for them
the chairman.
It's okay.
Oh, I know, but it's like it's a waste of like internet characters. That's got to be saved on like a server somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just, we don't need that gigabyte.
Yeah,
we don't need those
but
tiny kilobytes.
it's how they feel, it's how they feel, but it's okay if that's what. Yeah.
I
Sorry.
just about banned Lisa from my channel. I almost pushed the wrong button. Right, there we go. Okay, so let's continue with this.
Who told her to call him Papa?
Oh wait.
She was told the job was call him for. Said she was 19 when she started working for the chairman, who told her to call him Papa. She was told the job was conditional on a medical check.
I was subjected to an unnecessary and intrusive medical examination. I was never given those results. I was subjected to AIDS and STD testing without consent, and now believe in hindsight, I was checked for my purity.
Okay, so Queenie, this is where it gets freaking dark, right? Because there was a doctor who was, and this is allegedly, because we're going to find out later, but it looks like this doctor was in on it and allowed Al-Fayed to put these lady tests, right, for STDs. I don't know what it was. We're going to find out. But this was mandatory for her job.
Can I just ask a question? What position was she applying for?
Victim. Let's continue.
She says Mohamed Al-Fayed would forcibly kiss and grope her, that one night he pushed himself on top of her and she had to fight him off.
And he told me in no uncertain terms that I was never to breathe a word of this to anyone. If I did, I would never work in London again, and he knew where my family lived.
Women claim they were spied on, phones were bugged. Their boss was all powerful. They were terrified. Lindsay says a man approached her on the street to offer her a job working for the Harrods boss. She says Fayed attacked her in Paris.
And he attempted to rape me. It was quite a violent attack, actually. And at one point, I was just thinking,
well, Nola, this is what we're this is our first step into the case, right? And you can see how if you take listen, you got to understand when we're having these streams, we take away the human factor and we just look at data points. Okay, excuse me. So there's a lot of this, Nola, that you could see how could fuel a conspiracy theory, but I'm not going to say that is what it is. But certainly keep an open mind as we go into this, because it's horrendous.
I won't be able to get this man off, but obviously I don't want this happening to me. And somehow I got superhuman strength and I just kicked him off, flung him away and ran out of the room.
Do you believe that you were in effect recruited by Mohamed Al-Fayed for one purpose, in order to abuse you?
I fully believe that I was interviewed for rape. Yes, 100%.
Harrods says it's appalled at the allegations against Mohamed Al-Fayed and that his were the actions of an individual intent on abusing his power. But the lawyers for the women today argued that there was a failure of corporate responsibility at Harrods at the time, and they will pursue meaningful accountability.
He was a monster enabled by a system, by an unsafe system of work, which Harrods established, maintained, certainly acquiesced to, and we say facilitated during his chairmanship.
Also, definitely don't try and think there's any kind of suspicious timing, to distract an entire nation, because I'll be honest, I think the UK.
Okay, Ron, you know where I was going with this, right?
We're not going to say it. We're not going to say it. We're not saying anything like that. We're just talking, and if people can interpret, I'm just saying. But I'm not saying that. Neither's Queenie, right? Agreed, Queenie. We're not saying anything. We're not saying that. Very interesting.
In 2018, Channel 4 News spoke to 3 women who alleged sexual misconduct by Mohamed Al-Fayed. There were other investigations by other programs and police, but never any charges. Today's owners of Harrods have apologized to the former boss's victims, and they've been paying compensation to ex-employees. But this is about to get much bigger. Lawyers say they've been contacted by more than 100 women in the last 24 hours, all making their own allegations.
Well, earlier today I spoke to Gloria All.
Okay, so this is one where, like we've said, right, this is so massive now in the UK. We've got over 100 victims. This is connections to the royals. Apparently things happened in royal properties, and there was a doctor facilitating all of this. Now, if we are to believe what was just said there, that Harrods have been paying compensation, right? Harrods and companies like this don't pay out nothing unless a team of lawyers have went in, right? So there'll be one of two reasons. There will have been an overwhelming amount of evidence, okay? Or this is a massive damage control handling of PR, if you will. Now, hang on 1 second. It's shocking that in this day and age, we would question something like this, all right? But timing is everything. And I believe there is a massive story, okay? I am currently on the side of these women, okay? But there's a big difference between a woman who has loosely been tied to Harrods and has come out now to some of these women who've been speaking out for years, okay? we cannot allow because I tell you something else. Let's look at it from the other side of the coin. If it is true, we've got 23 real victims. Blanketing the police with false survivors would be a great way to completely derail everything and hold the case back. So we've got to kind of take it from every sort of possible angle. But Harrods, companies like this get accusations thrown at them all the time. And I just, for me to hear, sorry, them already paying out, there's got to be something to this. Okay, you can make up your own mind. But this is Mohamed Al-Fayed wanted to send young reporter Bull's testicles. Now, before we watch this, I just want to say, apparently Bull's testicles are delicious. It's a bit weird.
They are.
Like send to someone at work. But apparently they're freaking delicious. They're what are they called? Like Texas oysters or something oysters. But it's weird. There's a show here called Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. And every time there's testicles to be eaten, it's like the one that they get down easiest and like, actually, it's not bad. And anyway, this isn't about testicles. All right, let's continue.
And said, now, Mr. Alf.
Actually, Queenie, I missed a golden opportunity to talk about your opinion of testicles in your mouth. So we'll just leave that there and carry on, I think.
Fayed is going to take one look at you and say something along the lines of, will you be my third wife? Can I have your assurance that none of this light-hearted banter will make it into your piece? And because I was writing a piece for Tatler about the Scottish independence referendum at the time, I didn't think it was wholly relevant if Mr. Al-Fayed was going to propose to me. So I said, Michael, not a problem. I'm really not interested. And I sort of, thought I could bat it off. Which I did have to, because then I went into the even further into the hot apartment, into the sort of weird sitting room. And Mr. Mohamed appeared in a dressing gown. He was 85 at the time. He appeared in a sort of silky dressing gown.
So Sophia Money-Coutts interviewed Mohamed Al-Fayed over a decade ago, and she's written about it in today's paper, which you can also read online. Welcome to the show.
Hello, good morning.
You talk about this rather sort of bizarre interview with Al-Fayed and sort of how both inappropriate.
See, what's interesting is how people act in situations like interviews when people are allowed into their home, for example, because people who are very conditioned by their own actions, who believe there is an element of being untouchable. And I refer back to the Diddy case when he was kicking his ex up and down that hallway. That ain't the first time you've done that. You're used to that. And, I'm not being funny, but like we all have moments, hang on one second. We all have moments where like we're coming out of a shower, right? And we've got a towel around us and like your partner's friends suddenly in the hall because they've just arrived or your parents arrive and you have that feeling of overwhelming embarrassment. Not so much because of yourself, but like, oh my God, I'm in a situation where I'm in a towel. We all have a joke about it, but it's odd. And you have that reaction, right? You have that reaction to it. To have someone come for an interview, could you imagine, right? The next Sean Atwood podcast, and then Sean comes out in like a silky robe and sits down. What? We would all absolutely crease ourselves, right? For a start, right? But it's so
Should
out
we
of
have
place for the
what
norm,
time of
right?
what time of
So
day
for-
that was though, Ron?
No, no.
Did she
I'm sorry,
turn up and
professionalism
interrupt
for an interview?
something?
Nah. The interviews like this are prearranged. They're prearranged. This was the equivalent of someone doing a flash or sending a D in the DMs. It's that sort of shock factor because of what they believe they can get away with, allegedly, in my opinion, from the 10 seconds of research I've done. Let's continue and see what she says.
Okay,
this
Ron.
is an unfortunate
Let's
freeze
say
frame.
that was the case, Ron.
You respond
Okay.
first.
Let's say that was the case and came out like whatever she said. She had a choice to say, listen, I'm not going to do the interview. I'll meet you in your office another time you're properly clothed. She didn't have to stay and do the interview. The thing is, we as people have to take responsibility.
If you're a reporter,
Yeah, but that's inappropriate. I'm not gonna be
Oh
sitting
hell no! If I'm a reporter,
around you. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's
yeah, no, no.
because the
Listen,
way
this
I
woman
was
isn't saying she's
raised.
traumatized. She's yeah. Listen, Queenie, what this woman isn't saying she's traumatized by this. She's talking about her experience as a reporter. Now, if you're a reporter and you're there to interview someone and they walk out in their pants, hell yeah, you're staying and doing that interview. You've got a celebrity in their pants like this. So she's just giving her evidence that could back up the theory that he's a creepy, pretty person, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Let's continue.
And weird he was.
Yeah, it was, the whole thing was quite peculiar. From the very stifling apartment above Park Lane that I was ushered into, to
Stifling as in very, very hot.
so hot. I mean, I as I say in the piece, I joked that it was so hot to try and encourage you to take your clothes off, because a lot of people knew or had heard whispers, like with a lot of cases that have come out with other men in recent years. There had been rumors about his behavior for some time. So I sort of I'd made the joke before, maybe at the time, and to people when I got out of that apartment later after that interview, that oh, it's so hot in there, because I thought, maybe it was to try and encourage me to take off my shirt or something. Anyway, I had this peculiar interview with him, and his spokesman beforehand had asked me, he'd looked me up and down and said, now, Mr. Al-Fayed is going to take one look at you and say something along the lines of, will you be my third wife? Can I have your assurance that none of this light-hearted banter will make it into your piece? And because I was writing a piece for Tatler about the Scottish independence referendum at the time, I didn't think it was wholly relevant if Mr. Al-Fayed was going to propose to me. So I said, Michael, not a problem. I'm really not interested. And I sort of, thought I could bat it off. Which I did have to, because then I went into the even further into the hot apartment, into this sort of weird sitting room, and Mr. Mohamed appeared in a dressing gown. He was 85 at the time. He appeared in a sort of silky dressing gown, a sort of Hugh Hefner style silky dressing gown, shaking that day's copy of.
Now, I will say this, Queenie, right? If it's a satin dressing gown that he was actually wearing, and she's leaving out the fact that he was closed under it. Do you know that satin doesn't absorb the smell of smoke? And that's why people in cigar clubs would have those silky jackets on.
Okay. But how would she definitely know it was silk and not satin? Because they're basically almost
I don't know,
same.
but I'm not saying that. I'm
The
not
other
saying
thing
that's
is,
what
in
it
my house,
is,
Ron,
but she
my
hasn't
house
mentioned.
is
Yeah.
my house is a very hot house. Lots of people come to my door and they're like, "Oh my God, your house is so warm." So, what am I encouraging people to come in and strip nude? Come on now.
Well, here's the thing: she's not said nude. She said silky dressing gown.
Yeah,
So
no,
in my
you didn't
head,
know. She
it's a very
said,
clever way of wording.
no, you didn't hear what she said, Ron. She said, is that place so warm to encourage people to take their top off? Or so she said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
She
Well, listen,
said
I
that.
get that, but at the same time, I used to have friends that in the house was on fire. Oh my God! Right? Can I just say this has got nothing to do with the live stream? I want to formally apologize to my beautiful fiance, who in the last live stream, when I was on the little tiny screen with one monitor, I didn't see her say hello. Okay, and I want to formally apologize to the most incredible and beautiful woman in the world for missing your message. And I love you. Okay, right. So this for me, this is so. There's two ways of looking at this, Queenie. She's a victim of a weirdo. He was naked. He was hot. Everything she was saying is true. Or we can cleverly word something so that it paints an image that might not necessarily be the image. But let's find out, because we might be completely wrong within the next 30 seconds of this. Let's find out.
Of the Evening Standard, because I think it had something in there to do with Dodie and Diana and some inquest or some new update on that story. And I just immediately felt, God, how sad that this man is clearly so full of rage and heartbroken. 17 years on. I mean, obviously it was his son. Of course, you're still going to be heartbroken, but I could really vividly see what it seemed to have done to him. And then Michael, his spokesman, obviously sort of whispered a few words, and he turned and saw me and sort of visibly brightened. And I then just had quite a difficult interview, basically, trying to get some sensible line out of him about Scotland and the independence referendum. And every time I asked the question, it was, are you married? Do you have a boyfriend? The weirdest bit, which has formed the headline of today's piece, I really remember him sort of grinning at me slyly across this table and saying, have you ever eaten bull's testicles? And I said,
See, again, I'm going to ignore the bull's testicles thing because I've met some old people that say some things, right? And they're definitely not weirdos. So this one for me, I'm going to put up there with the robe on and naked underneath at 85 in a sweltering hot house, and assume that everything that she said and the picture she's painting is true. For me, I would put I would put a yellow sticker on this, where I would say if suddenly a tape came out and it proved everything that she was saying, I would be, yeah, okay, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. But at the same time, I'm not going to put too much more investigation into it, if that makes sense. Does that make sense to you, Queenie?
Yeah, this doesn't cut it for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's okay. Right. So let me just bring up some news. Okay. Some newsy news. Because the headlines, Queenie, are mad. Okay? Look at this headline. This is the headline. Mohamed Al-Fayed arred 16-year-old Harrods worker after invasive examination for STDs. Now, I believe that was the lady who worked at Harrods. So let's have a little read. Mohamed allegedly arred a 16-year-old girl after forcing her to have intimate medical examination. Kate, not her real name, said that she had never had sex when the late Harrods owner attacked her in his Park Lane flat soon after she began working for him. Like many of his victims, Kate said that Al-Fayed had previously required her to have an invasive examination by a company doctor. That is so creepy. For sexually transmitted diseases. That's even more creepy. She came let's not get triggered by it. She came forward in the wake of the BBC documentary, alleging the tycoon who died 94 last year sexually assaulted and arred her. I mean, that is freaking dark. The company doctor. Do you know what? Hang on a second. Let's dig into her or whoever this was. Hang on, because I want to see this.
I would like to know what's the position she applied for to be subjected
It'll just be
to
basic
an
jobs, I would imagine. I mean, I
examination.
would imagine. Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. So when we talk about why would they do that? Well, imagine that you're that age, you get a weird request for a job to go and get an examination or whatever. Are you thinking in your head? Yeah, you probably are, ladies. Actually, I'm a dude. You probably definitely are thinking this is a creepy scenario. You know what I'm saying? All I've got to do is basically pee in a cup, right? Nothing too intrusive going on. I think that's how it's done. Anyway, you know, I definitely wouldn't be getting the little umbrella down the pee hole for a job.
I'm here trying to think, Ron, what job I could apply
Right.
for that they would want to examine me. Like I'm just here racking my brain. Like what's the position I'm applying for?
Well, here's the thing. Would it not? Would the position not have to have something to do with handling blood, right? Or using your lady parts for something? Would that not, the job would have to include that? And I'm not saying that's what the job was they were applying for, but surely
That's exactly that's
the
the
adult
thing.
industry, you've
I'm
got to have a
racking
test
my
every month,
brain.
right? Makes sense, right? I mean, doctor here, Queenie. Oh, God damn it.
Oh, wow.
God damn it. just ignore my inability to find articles that are free. Just give me a second, everybody. 1 second. It's weird as well because I feel like only certain newspapers are focusing in on this doctor. I'm gonna have to sign up to the Daily Mail, man, or get an ad blocker and not, or turn off the ad blocker. I can't figure it out. BBC documentary accuses Harris tycoon Al Fayed of R. So this must be a clip from the documentary, which it doesn't want to play. So let's just have a wee read here because the doctor's the one. Because the doctor, there's going to
agreement for me.
Okay, right, we're forgetting about this. So the doctor for me, Queenie, right? There's going to be records, yeah. There's got to be a paper trail with regards to her, and I imagine, hopefully, the lawyers and the people reporting on all of this have. It's a toy shop. Is it it's a fancy store? It's not, the other one's the toy shop, but it's a big fancy shop. Like having STD tests for a department store rings mega creep bells. I mean, mega creep bells.
The only thing I would say about having like a blood test, if you're being employed for the catering side, so you have to do your hygiene stuff, but
see, here's the
that's
thing.
not
Here's
what
the thing.
it's
I get
entail.
what you're
It's not
saying, but
entail.
I don't think that's even allowed, but it's a good stab. Medical.
No. That's what I'm
In
saying.
fact,
The
you know
only
what?
thing I can think about is a blood test, not invasive stuff. It's a blood test.
Yeah, hang on a minute. Yeah, I see. So the doctor conducting the test, it was a she. Give me a second. Let me see if I can pull up that article from the Daily Mail on another browser. Okay. Or at least be able to read it from another browser. Just give me a second. I don't even know what it is that's blocking the ads. Give me a second. I've got a funny feeling it's malware bites. Give me a second. Let's turn that off and see if we refresh. Because malware bites sometimes identifies as automatic ads that play as something trying to invasively start in your system. I mean, it's true, but I won't bore you all with the nerd stuff. Let's see if this works.
Someone is asking why
Use
a blood
Brave.
test.
Yeah, I will do. I've just. Do you know
to
what it
work
is?
in a furniture store? No, I'm talking about food.
For me. Harris,
Sorry,
nah,
Ron?
it's a big. No, I'm just answering one of the side chat was asking who. Yeah, we're not meaning to talk over each other, mate. I've got mega lag because my internet's still goosed. I'm just checking the big boy internet to see if it's back. Switch into the big boy internet. If I disappear, I will return. Queenie, tell us something fabulous.
Am I talking over you, Ron? I'm sorry. Are you gone, Ron? Why am I not hearing anything? Hello?
That's the one, people. That is the one. Okay, Queenie, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. We're back on the proper internet, people. Big shout out to Virgin Media. Yeah. So give me 1 second just to see if I can find oh no, I think I did it.
Hey, Cassie Bear. Sending you hugs.
All right. Also, as well, just whilst we're taking we're taking a minute. A while ago, you may have heard me talking about Lisa and a food drive for her dog charity that I was going to be putting together, and that is finally getting launched. And with the passing of Thor, my wonderful boy, I'm tying it in as like we can all give a little
In the
bit for dog.
memory of, in the memory of
Yeah,
your.
the memory of
Okay.
Thor. And we're going to work out what, like, for example, one bowl of the food is that she has for her dogs, and one massive like bag that you would get from the wholesalers would cost, and work it out that you can buy meals for her doggos. Now, when I say doggos, she has over 50 little tiny doggos that are all rescues that she runs this charity herself. She's a community member. She's our mod. And I was going to run it for a set amount of time, but I'm going to make it a permanent page on
Oh,
my
Lisa, don't cry. Oh.
I'm going to make it a permanent site on the website, and that Thor's page will be, for example, a lot of Sean's stuff has big sponsors, you know what I mean? But none of my shows have. So that's the sort of thing I'm going to be using as, you know, the sponsored ads. We'll be pushing Lisa's dog charity and ways that people can help and all the rest of it, because yeah. Listen, no, listen, no. I would love to. There's some really good white out the box crypto things, but nah, man. YouTubers and crypto, it's a minefield. But I want something that Thor would be proud of, and feeding doggos is amazing. And I know all of you, once I start telling you that you can definitely give up Starbucks. You can give up Starbucks 5 times a month, okay? Do you know how much? Do you know as well? I was down in England, Queenie, right? England is mad. Everything is so expensive. Like, I get why
I
there's
know. Tell me about it.
like, I was in like one of these Costco instant like coffee machines, and one place it was £4 for a large latte. And then we went for a beer, and everyone was talking about how amazing it was that it was only £4 a pint. And it was
Oh,
just a bit
wow.
it was just a bit mad. So I definitely seen a difference in England compared to Scotland when it comes to the impact of some things, for sure.
So how much is a point in your neck of the woods then?
A pint.
Yeah.
I can go to Witherspoons, right, and get a pint from £1.20 to £8.50 in Edinburgh. But and
Oh.
everything in between. Now that I never checked
Mm.
in English Wetherspoons. I imagine it's the same in there as well. But if I was to go out, I don't drink pints. Okay, I'm drinking cocktails. So I always expect to pay between £10 and £15 per drink, depending on where I am. But I drink proper beer. If they've got proper beer and I'm just having one drink, I will have a nice beer. And that's what I was doing. And it was nice beer, and it was £4 and it was banging. It was a good time. But coffee, mad. So I can't remember what I was talking about that. But Mohamed Al-Fayed's victims' fury after doctor accused of carrying out STD tests on Harrod employees still has license and practices medicine. Here we go, people. A doctor accused of carrying out invasive tests for sexually transmitted diseases on employees working at Mohamed Al-Fayed still has a license and practices. Dr. Ann Cox carried out wholly unnecessary medical examinations, according to a survivor known as Natasha. Natasha, yes, got to be that, who claimed she now had questions, that she now has questions to answer. That she now had questions to answer. The doctor allegedly carried out the test at her Harley Street clinic in London on behalf of the then Harrods boss before the results were then shared with him. Wow. So let's just say there's no abuse, right? Surely that's breach of confidentiality, and she's got to be there's got to be something done. But there's more, obviously. But Natasha, part of the Justice for Harrod Survivors Group, told the BBC that the examinations carried out by Dr. Costin were intrusive and wholly unnecessary. They resulted in many employees, including my own, confidential medical information being impartially shared, inappropriately shared, fucking nailed it, with Harrods, within Harrods. This should not have happened. I completely agree. Now, are we seeing a creepy sweep of let's get in some young girls and make sure they're all clean? Are you getting any vibes like that, Queenie? Because you would think.
Listen,
Okay,
that's a possibility, but it's either these people are really naive. Why would okay, for example, I am going for a furniture store to be an assistant, sales assistant, or whatever. Why would I go and get a invasive?
Yeah,
I'm not understanding. I'm not
I get.
understanding how they subject themselves to these things. I don't know. It's
I
not
completely understand.
computing.
I completely understand. But again, we have to question what control, what methods were used, what promises were made, that we haven't found out yet, because it seems odd. And it seems, could you imagine, Queenie? Just imagine. Do you have any daughters, Queenie? It's just sons you have, right?
No, I've got a daughter. My daughter is 25.
So your daughter comes back and she's like, Mum, such a good day. I passed my STD test from my job at Greg's. Like, how are you going to process that? Do you see what I'm saying?
The first thing I'm going to ask her, what? Are you in some other business in Greg's? Or have they got a little back room there or something?
Yeah, it's beyond odd. I have a fully grown daughter just like you. Okay, I've got a few, but one is proper grown up, 23, works in a bank. Big shout out, Kirsten, love you lots. Never once has she been asked to do anything like that. And I tell you something now, right? I tell you something now, from a girl who knows not to bring back a boyfriend for her dad to meet until it's serious, and because I'm telling you, I would walk down to her employers and have one of the most incredible live streams. And the reason that I'd be live streaming it is because that's how I would avoid jail. All right, because my brain knows there's a bunch of witnesses. You know what I'm saying? But I think perhaps back when all this took place, we were still in that weird era of no Me Too, nothing like this. I mean, it could have been sold in that era as just standard, you know, different time. Now, we got to remember that isn't an excuse. It's just a way to understand why people would have went through that. Does that make sense?
Ron, I'm just here right now trying to process that because that bit is not computing for me at all. It's just not computing because this job that I'm doing does not require me
No,
to
I
be
get that.
using.
I get.
It's a weird. I don't know.
And listen,
I can't.
I'll be honest
I
with
don't
you.
know. That bit can't compute in my brain.
I'll be honest with you, 100%, you Queenie. The only friends that I've ever had who have those tests work in the adult industry, and it's a routine. They do it every month. They've got to have it every single month, and that makes sense to me. You know.
So that's the reason why it's not computing to me because I'm here trying to think of what job you're going right now that would want you to do stuff like that. So
Or what
it's
job?
just
Or what job do you not realize that you're getting?
you're getting yourself well. Well.
But like I say, that no one's getting away with that in 2024. So after this stream in 5 minutes, we have another stream with the one and only Mr. Sean Atwood, the legend himself.
It's very sad though. If all the one of the biggest thing that
we got 4 minutes. We got 4 minutes.
I wish is that evil people don't jump on the bandwagon and allow the real victim to speak the truth, not their truth, speak the truth. And if there is compensation, then yes. But people who are not victims and just gonna derail stuff, That's the part that is a bit.
Yeah, but this is the thing. We can't focus on those who are being the negative part of this. We have to focus on those who have potentially got a story to tell, because by smothering us all in this and that and this is a victim and that's a victim without us knowing fully, can take away from those
Yeah, but
who
Ron, that's the point I'm trying to say. How will we know that these horrible ones who probably are not really victims aren't gonna mess it up for the real victims? That's the point that I'm trying to put across too.
We don't, but we certainly don't discredit until there's discredit to be had. And again, I know how difficult it is to put sort of into perspective believing everyone, but I think there's ones that stand out for me and ones that don't. Now listen, this is what is coming up next, everybody. Diddy's up-to-date news with Diddy. I have a new series for you all. Okay, listen, please. This is going to be 9:30 tonight, and again tomorrow. We're diving in with Diddy, but this whole series is exposing Hollywood. If you liked what I used to do, if you believe that there is a story that needs to be told, if you believe that these kids in Hollywood are in a never-ending cycle, this is the show for you. It is at 9:30 after the next stream with Sean. Please, please, please come and support me. Come and support Sean, and let's get educating the masses on the realities of Hollywood. Queenie, thank you so much for being here. Love you all as always.